How do we cultivate positiveness when things are not in bad times?
How do we grow as a couple?
How to use humor in a relationship?
So is there a priority if, let's say, all these are in conflict with each other?
Okay, so the dance of two. Why do I use this? Originally, this was not the original title. It was a very long title, but I changed it because any one of you have gone to learn dancing, couple dancing, not hip-hop, couple dancing, ballroom dancing, salsa, tango. Nobody. Maybe you all should go and try. Okay, so when I was younger, I did learn salsa, but just for one course. Okay, but it's very, very interesting because when you learn couple dancing, initially, when you're just, you're still trying to figure out the steps and figure out how to communicate with your partner bodily, right, not verbally, you will make mistakes. You make a lot of mistakes. You step on each other's toes, knock into each other. For example, as a male, I want the female to turn, and then the female does something else, and then the whole dance just goes haywire. Dancing is actually very, very similar to couple relationships. So that's why I use this analogy of a dance, okay, and specifically the dance of two. So what we'll be covering today, the first is the source of discontent, which is stepping on each other's toes. And then after that, we will go into right effort, which are all the remedies. So I titled it as Dancing Together with Grace. So after you know how to communicate with each other, then you will be able to dance in grace and you'll look nice, even if the dance steps are very simple steps. Next one is a dance across lifetimes is a never-ending waltz. Like what Angela said for that concluding sentence just now. Couple relationship is an ongoing thing that you have to keep communicating with each other and keep trying to learn each other's ever-changing habits. Our habits do not just stay constant. Just ask yourself when you were younger and now. Doesn't matter 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years ago. Do you think that you're still the same person? No, right? Because you encounter circumstances, you encounter difficulties, or you even encounter good things. Then you will start to change. Your thinking will change. And your actions will change. We ourselves, we do not stop changing. So we also cannot expect our spouse to also stop changing. I know a lot of couples, after they get married, they say, last time you always do this for me, now why you don't do it for me? But people change. Not only their character, even their priorities will change. Initially, when you are still in the patho stage, you have a lot of time because you are more free, maybe in university or just entering the workforce, you have more time. So when you have more time, you have the luxury to actually do things for your boyfriend or girlfriend. But once you get married, once you start to have children, your priorities will totally change. Now, regardless whether you're male or female, you have to provide for the family. You have to make sure you have enough money, especially money, to feed your kids, to get your family going. So your priorities have already changed. So you cannot expect the same type of behavior from, I don't know how many years ago, when you first got together. Okay, so never-ending waltz. Then lastly, we will do the Q&A. All right, so first 3 topics, hopefully we cover in half an hour. Then Q&A, another half an hour. First, let's go into stepping on each other's toes, sources of discontent. From the scriptures, the Buddha said, first source of discontent is not getting what you want. The source is there. Any of you, if you're interested, I have given the PDF to Angela as well. Later on, if you want, she can just WhatsApp to you. The source, if you're interested, you can read, but it's very long. I just shortened everything for you. So first is not getting what you want. This happens to every single person. This happens to all aspects of your life, not only in marriage. Ask yourself, when you were a kid, do you always get what you want? You want toys, you want to play, you want to eat junk food. Does your parent give you all the time? No, right? So from young, you have already experienced this type of discontent where you cannot get what you want. So this is the first one. But when you first don't get what you want, you will only have discontent. As time goes on, this not getting what you want has more and more occurrences. I'm talking about the same discontent. Like for example, you expect your partner to do a certain thing, but your partner always refuses to do it. Initially, it's just a very, very small discontent. And you think, why this person don't do it for me? But as time goes on, months or years, and you repeated reminders and the person still does not do it, then it will become the second source of discontent, which is being together with the dislike. Right? After a long time, that small discontent, it will always stay in your heart. It plants a seed in your heart. As it goes on and the discontent accumulates, it will grow into you think that this is something that I really don't like. And when there are arguments, what will people always say? Why are you always like that? Then you start to use the word always. Even though that particular thing, that issue, is just an occasional occurrence. And every time you argue, you will start to say, why are you always like that? Why you always do this, or why you always don't do this? Then the word always comes in. And then what will your partner say? Your partner say, not always, what? Right? And then you'll start arguing here, there, and there. So this is what the Buddha says. And like I said, it's not only in couple relationships. It appears in all aspects of life. Whether it's work, whether it's your family, whether with your relationship, or next time when you have children, with your children. So it will appear all the time. This is why you need to learn how to handle these type of situations, because it will always happen. In this particular course, you learn about the 4 horsemen, which is the first category of discontent. Anyone who can answer, what is the first horseman? Can you remember? Sorry?
Content.
Sorry?
Content.
Contempt. Okay. Criticism. Next is, sorry, I'm not very sure about this. Yeah, the next one is contempt. Then after that, I'm helping Angela test you.
Self-defense.
Defensiveness.
Defensiveness, and then?
Stalling.
Yes, very good. Wow, Angela, good job. Okay, so first category of discontent is the 4 horsemen, right? We are not going into the remedies yet. We just talked about the discontentment first. Second category is the 4 types of expectations. First one? Or don't have to be in order, lah. Just say, hopefully it's in order because my slides are in order. So. First one?
Something that you say out.
Something that you say out. The first one is conscious and spoken. So pardon me, because I'm not in a relationship. So I just read through the slide and then I just take out all the keywords. So the next one is conscious but unspoken. Then the third one is unconscious but influential. And then the last one is unrealistic or idealized. Okay? Don't have to write. Everything in PDF, I will send everything to you. Don't worry. Unless you want to take extra notes, then okay. All right, so these are the 4 types of expectations. Then the next category is, anyone? What do you learn after that? What other issues can come up during a for a relationship? Actually, this one is very important. I just said just now. Cannot remember. After the 4 horsemen, after the 4 types of expectations, what is the next major issue that can occur in a relationship? Oh, jialat. Fail. Next is financial issues. Right? Please don't think that in Cantonese, I'm not sure whether you understand Cantonese. 邀請飲水飽, do you understand? With love, you can just drink water and be full. Is it true? Not true, right? Financial issues is one of the very big problems in relationships. It can break a lot of relationships. So the first one is financial instability. The next one? Financial disagreement or budget disagreements. Okay, next one. Oh, money is so important, you all forget. Cannot remember. Okay, next. Disagreements over major purchases. How many already happened? 11. Then what happened? I've seen a lot of YouTube videos of China, not Singapore. Singapore, I'm sure it happens also, but in China, the wife bought what? One room of things during 11/11, and the wife does not even need to use everything. Of course, it's not only females, males also do the same thing, but the major purchases, females usually buy a lot. Males will be expensive, but one item, but it's super expensive item. So I'm sure you also encounter guys are usually like that. Unequal contributions. So this is the one. Next one is, what's the next issue that can occur between couples?
In-law.
In-laws or family influence. First one is communication patterns, how you communicate with the spouse's family, then emotional regulation, attachment styles, and finally, value systems. I'm just giving you just the title, so I hope you'll remember all the content. Okay, so this ends the issues or the sources of this content. Now we go into the second one, which is dancing together with grace, and in Buddhism we call right effort. So what is right effort? Right effort in Buddhism, what the Buddha says, give up current unwholesome actions. That's the first thing you need to do. Whatever unwholesome actions that you have, whether it's habitual or whether it's you just picked it up recently, you have to give it up. Then the next one is, don't start doing other unwholesome actions. That means maybe you meet new friends, maybe you have new colleagues, maybe you have new, whatever other people you meet. And then you start to learn unhealthy things from them. Or even worse, absorb unhealthy ideas from them. Like what? You should treat your wife like that because men should be da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You should treat your husband like that because men are usually da-da-da-da-da-da. You will hear this type of so-called advice from, older couples or whatever it is, or even those who are not married, they talk until they are like, expert in a marriage like that. And then because of the way they talk, you believe them. And then you come back home, you treat your spouse like that. What do you think will happen? So don't let other people poison your thinking. That is what the Buddha means. Don't start doing other unwholesome actions. So next, we are talking about start to do new wholesome actions. So for example, in this course, you have learned all the remedies, right, for all the issues that we just spoke about just now. So you don't have to wait. You can start doing it by today. Start practicing it. Because why? Nothing comes naturally or nothing comes immediately the moment you learn it, right? Once you start doing it, you feel very awkward. Not only you, even your partner will feel awkward. Why you something like that? But since the both of you have already attended the course, you know what each other is trying to do. So you try to learn and try to accommodate it, and you can actually try to tweak it a bit to suit your relationship and your personality. Then the next one is, once you have started to do all these things, you should maintain all your wholesome actions and try to do it even more and improve on it. So this is what the Buddha taught about right effort. And again, Buddhism, or rather the Dhamma, what the Buddha has taught, it applies to all aspects of your life, not only in relationships. In your individual work, your own personality, your dealings with your friends, your family, and even after that, how you bring up your children. It's all the same. You have to give up your unwholesome actions. Maybe when you talk to your parents, you were rude to them. Then now you realize it, you stop. Try to be more gentle in your speech. Right? I'm sure you'll learn what speech? You'll learn something speech, right? Right speech, right? So one of it is to be gentle, right? So be gentle when you're talking to your parents, your friends, your partner. Then maybe the next one is don't start doing other unwholesome actions. Like what I said, don't just absorb what other people tell you and then you start doing it. You have to think. You have to have some critical thinking. Then do the new wholesome actions like treat your spouse better, treat your parents better, treat your friends better. And if you have some not so good habits, then maybe you need to change. You should know by now that your partner will always say, hey, this action that you have now, can you stop doing it? Then maybe you think about it, is it really something that you can change? Or rather, if you change it, it doesn't really affect you that much, but then it will make your relationship better. Then you go ahead and change it, right? It's just that you feel very, very uncomfortable because why? According to neurology, the brain does not like change. The brain likes constant and familiar things. So it is not you that do not want to change. It is your brain. Because why? Once you have formed a path between different parts of your brain, for example, the moment you hear something, you will do this action. So it forms a neural link in your brain. So that link, over years of doing it again and again and again, it strengthens that link. It is so strong that the moment you hear the same phrase, you will start doing that action. So this is why it is very, very difficult for you to change, because once you change, you need to form a new link. But the new link is not so easy to form, because that particular phrase will always try to go to the straight link. But now you want to go to a semicircle link. So you're trying to form a new link. That's why it's very, very difficult, and the brain does not like it. But you have to force yourself to try to do it if you think that you really can improve yourself and you can improve your relationship. The next one is harmonizing the footwork, remedies for the conflicts. So these are the remedies that you have learned in this course, 4 horsemen and the Gottman method. This one I combine the two because they're very similar. First one is gentle startup. I hope you remember. Then build appreciation and accept influence. Next, take responsibility and make repair attempts. Self-soothe. And then finally, the last one is compromise and seek common ground. So these 5 remedies is a combination of these two. The next one is, like what I mentioned just now, right speech. So this is part of the Dhamma, what the Buddha taught, and it applies to all aspects of our life. So the first one is truth. Second one is beneficial. And then the third one is gentle. After that is necessity. And finally, right timing. Okay, maybe just talk about truth. How many of you, I'll be honest, you don't have to lie to me because it doesn't matter to me. How many of you think that white lies are 100% absolute necessary in a relationship? 1 person. No one else? Sure not. Well, just because your partner beside you, you don't dare to raise. The thing is, that's what a lot of people think. But then, what the Buddha taught is this. He taught his own son. If a person is capable of telling lies, it does not matter whether it's a black lie, a white lie, whatever lie it is, that person is capable of all evils. Why? Because, think about it, the first time you do something wrong, even as a kid, and then your parents ask you, did you do it? What is your first reaction?
Yes.
Yes. Do you say, yes, I did it. Yeah, it's me. Do you do that? No, right? The first instinct is what? No, it's not me. It's maybe your brother, your sister, whoever. No, the person do it, not me. Or if no brother and sisters, I don't know. No, I don't know why like that. Right? So that's the first instinct, even as a kid. Why? Because you are. Why do you do that?
Scared.
Scared of?
Punishment.
Yes, you are afraid of punishment. As you grow up, again the same thing. Something happened, you did something wrong, and then when people question you, you again tell a lie. Then, as time goes on, you will realize that telling lies work. Then from one very small mistake, you'll be bolder. First time you make a mistake, you tell a lie, you are successful in lying, and the person believes you. You get bolder. You commit a more serious act. And then when you commit a more serious act, you lie again, and you're successful again, what happens? You get even bolder because you think that nobody can find out what I am trying to do. And then as time goes on, you do things that are worse and worse and worse and worse. Until one day, when none of your lies can help you anymore, everything will just burst open. And you get the punishment. And then by that time, the punishment that you get will be very, very serious. So this is why the Buddha said, a person who is capable of lying is capable of committing all evils. So this is the first thing that he taught his son. In terms of right speech, my advice to couples, do not even tell white lies. Why? Because if you need white lies, or rather white lies to sustain the relationship, something is wrong. Either you don't trust your partner to understand what you are going through and then to explain the thing. Or second, either one of you or both of you are super sensitive. A bit of thing also cannot. Well, this also cannot, that one also cannot. And you become very scared. When you become very scared, you dare not say. Right? So these are things that push people to keep saying, white lies are okay lah. Okay, you need white lies to maintain the relationship. But it's actually not true. The more you tell, then one day when everything was open, even worse, the friend go and tell your partner. Then you find out, and then you start to question, no, don't try and trust this friend, no. Then it will get worse. It really will get worse. So try not to tell white lies. Then if you have issues, work it out among yourselves. Okay? Then next, financial foundations, another remedy. Transparency, systems, goals, and values alignment. This one, how does it link with right speech? Truth, right? So you see, even secular, non-religious things, they teach you have to be transparent with each other. But what do a lot of couples tell you? Or rather, even social media, what do they say? You all don't know? Cannot be lah. Whether you are male or female, you must have your own 私房钱, right? To protect yourself. Am I right? Have you heard of this? So are you being transparent? You're not. Yeah, well, I'm not saying you cannot have your own money in your own bank account. I'm not saying that. I know a lot of couples, they will set up a shared bank account, a joint bank account, and then the two of you will put money inside, right? And then you all use from there. And then you'll have your own separate bank accounts. It's fine. You don't have to disclose how much you have inside. That's besides the point. But so long as you agree how much you put inside the shared bank account, then it's fine. But you don't, after that 1 month, you go and put lesser than agreed. And then when your partner asks you, this month, no money. I don't know what excuse, and then a white lie come out. Alright, so transparency. This goes in line with right speech. Next, managing in-laws. The remedy is united front. Blood manages blood. Clear, loving boundaries. And proactive communication. This one I can't comment much. I don't have in-laws. So I just leave it to Angela to explain to you. Okay, next will be choreographing the partnership, fostering domestic harmony. So this is where the Dhamma comes in. So I will go through very briefly what the Buddha says about domestic harmony. So in this particular scripture, the Buddha says to the husband, this is your responsibility. You need to treat your wife with honor. Do not look down on your wife. Be faithful. Relinquish authority to your wife. Present wife with adornments. So you can see, even 2,500 years ago, the Buddha already said, treat your wife with honor. Why did he say this? And also do not look down on your wife. Because even now in India, the male status is much, much higher than the female. Even now. So that's why the Buddha said this. I'm just going to talk about what the Buddha said first. Then after that, I'll bring it into the modern era. Okay, then for the wife, the Buddha said, well organized in her work, manages the domestic help, be faithful, preserve husband's earnings, deft and tireless in all her duties. This is the wife's part. So what the Buddha is saying, both must be faithful to each other, and then the husband and the wife, they have duties towards each other. But in this case, this is the old way of relationships, whereby the husband is the breadwinner and then the wife stays at home to make the house. So that's why she has to be well organized in her work and then manage the domestic help. So modern era, the husband and wife, that's why I changed it a bit. This is from me, right? Not from the Buddha. So this is from me. I took it. I took it from whatever the Buddha said, and then I adjusted it to our modern era. Okay. Treat your spouse with honor. Not only treat your wife with honor. Okay, both of you must treat each other with honor. Don't look down on your spouse, because nowadays it's not only the men looking down on women. Even women can look down on men. especially if the woman is earning more than the man or come from a more affluent family. It happens. Again, be faithful, preserve the household's earnings. Like what I said just now, if you have shared joint account, then make sure you preserve that money. Don't you not enough money and then you just go take from that shared account and then you go and use it. Then, well organized in your household chores, that means both of you do, now very common. Then, deft and tireless in all your household chores, and then present your spouse with gifts and notes of appreciation. I'm not sure whether you all have seen this, or rather heard of this, whereby some couples, they will leave notes of appreciation everywhere in the house. Maybe one day one. And then let the other partner find it. When the other partner finds it, they will write one note, and then they will place it somewhere, and then let the partner find it again. So it's like a to and fro thing, and they do it every day. If you don't want to make it so complicated, have to find, just stick it at the bathroom mirror. Then morning when they go, they will see it already. This is a very small thing, but it can really help to improve your relationship. And you know what are the things that your partner really appreciates about you. Right? So it's a very small thing. You don't have to spend money to buy gifts. So a lot of times, as the couples grow older, they talk less and less. And that is a very big issue. So, in conclusion, not say conclusion for the whole talk, but rather for this particular sutta, Ajahn Sujato, he said, marriage is based on mutual care and respect, not on dominance and obedience. So please don't try to say you need to change this habit of yours. Please don't do that. So just try to communicate and see how we can work things out. Sorry, I need to go a bit faster because I'm over time. The next one is whole dancers, better partners, which is on individual wellness. So in this particular scripture, the Buddha says to practice to benefit neither themselves nor others. This one I will have to explain a bit. What the Buddha's analogy is this: there's a torch, and the torch on top, in the middle of it, they put a piece of shit on it, and then regardless where you burn the end from. You burn from this end, right end, you burn from left end. At the end of it, nobody can use that torch. Because by the time you burn to the middle, you'll sting like hell, right? So nobody can use it. That's why this is the analogy for this. You are practicing to benefit neither yourself nor others. Like for example, you learn everything from this course, but you don't change, and then you don't try to change for your partner also. And then you also don't try to do things for partner. Then you're not changing at all. You not change this. You also don't try to change for other people. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping other people. So it's like the piece of shit in the middle of the stick. No matter which end you burn from, it will still sting at the end. Then next, a better person than this will be to practice to benefit other people, but not themselves. They only care about others, but they don't care about themselves. Then the next one, even better, will be to practice to benefit themselves, but not others. Finally, the best person that the Buddha says is practicing to benefit both themselves and others. So in this particular case, when you're talking about individual wellness, it is this one. I will just give one example. Imagine a doctor, or rather a person who wants to be a doctor. But the person only has PSLE education level. This person can be a doctor, or rather this person open clinic. You dare to go see him? He announced that, oh, I'm a doctor. You dare to go and see him? No, right? Why? Because he doesn't have the appropriate knowledge. He did not even help himself so that he can study all the way to attain the doctor license, or rather he just stopped at PSLE, he thinks it's enough. And then he go and try to open a clinic to try to help other people. So he's not helping himself. People who help themselves means that they practice to benefit themselves, means that they themselves try to improve first before they try to help other people. So this is exactly what individual wellness is about, which is the PERMA model. Sorry, I need to go fast. So this is the PERMA model, right? You have gone through already. Okay, then the last one, never-ending walls, just a quote from the Buddha, a dance across lifetimes. He said, when couples move through life with shared faith, ethics, generosity, and wisdom, they live in harmony, experience peace and fulfillment, and continue their journey together beyond this life. So that's what he said. He said, if you want to remain together in this life and in future lives, you need to share faith, ethics, generosity, and wisdom. So in terms of wisdom, faith, ethics, generosity, you know. But wisdom, it can be with religious wisdom. It also can be secular wisdom, like whatever you have learned in this course. Wisdom and knowledge, what's the difference? Knowledge is just theory. Wisdom is something that you absorb the knowledge and then you do it. That is wisdom. That's the difference between wisdom and knowledge. Okay, so this is the end of the talk. And now we will go into Q&A. Any questions? Anything that I presented and then you are not sure of? Yep.
One question. I mean, a lot of things in the relationship that we are building up, to put in context together with religion, we are always cultivating positiveness, right? So, whether to our spouses or to ourselves. So, not every time we will go through the good times, we will go through the bad times as well. So, looking to seek some advice and wisdom, how do we cultivate positiveness when things are not in bad times?
To cultivate positiveness, this is a very difficult question to answer because it really depends on a lot of factors. Because positiveness can come from your own personality. If you are naturally a person who is more pessimistic, like for example, half glass of water, do you see it half full or half empty? If you are a person who sees it as half empty, then you want to be positive, then you are basically telling yourself you want to change your character, or rather your personality, or your view of life, which is very, very difficult. So I'll just have to be very honest here because this is a very, very difficult question to answer. Let's say if you really is that type of person, right, you only see half empty glass of water. So what you can do is, in terms of Buddhism, in terms of the scriptures, you will have to be very, very mindful. Extremely mindful of all the things that you think, all the things that you do, and all the things that you say. Because your personality is like that. So every time your natural reaction, like I said, the neural link is already like that. Everything that happens, the first thing you will notice is the negative side of it. So that link is already there. That's why I said, when you want to switch, or rather want to make changes to your personality, you have to form a new link. So in order to form a new link, in terms of Buddhism, you have to be very, very mindful. That means every time you see, rather you notice an event happening, and you catch yourself, if you can catch yourself that, oh, I'm thinking very negatively about this event, then you need to immediately stop it. You need to stop it, and then you need to try to think of the positive things. You may even need to take a piece of paper, note down what are the negative things that you think about, and then after that, force yourself to think what are the positive things about this event. You have to do this practice because if you don't do it, the mind will just go to the very so-called normal for you, the normal way. Sorry, not you, rather the person who is negative. So they will just keep going and thinking about negative. So you need to present to the mind that there is some positive aspects, even in a very, very bad situation. You have to do that. And then after that, you will have to keep training yourself. Like every time you talk to someone, reduce the negativeness in your speech. You all will notice, right? If someone is very negative, every time they talk to you, it's, this one cannot, that one cannot, this one sure fail, that one also can, everything also cannot one. So you will have to train your own speech. That's the first thing. The first one that I told you about is to train your thoughts. The second one is to train your speech. And the third one is action. Actually, action comes from your thoughts. You have negative thoughts, naturally you do more negative things. But you have more positive thoughts, then you will do more positive things. So this is a very difficult thing to do. I have to be very honest, it's very difficult. So you will have to put in a lot of right effort in order to change, or rather in order to have a more positive outlook on life. Okay? Right. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Any others?
I got a question. Like, I'm interested to know what do the scripture or Buddhist teaching teach about, like, how do we grow as a couple? I guess there's a lot of teaching about how do we grow as a person, but like, how do we grow as a couple, two-person?
Well, just now, the scripture that I just showed you,
Right effort thing, right?
not right effort, but rather this one. Like I said, this is the old era, whereby the husband is the sole breadwinner, and then the wife stays at home. So, with the modern era, I combine everything. If the two of you can so-called complete everything here, then you will have a very, very good life together. Because think about it, how many people, because they don't respect their spouse, and then a lot of quarrels happen. Right? Why are you so stupid? Why you keep doing this? Why are you so stupid? They say out, and then there are more subtle ways. Like for example, wherever the spouse says something, the partner will either laugh at the spouse, or maybe call names. Don't directly say stupid, but call names, laugh at the spouse. Isn't that looking down on the spouse? Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. You cannot just because you have a particular strength that your spouse is weak to, and then you keep amplifying your own strength, and then when your spouse do something wrong with regards to that character, then you keep ridiculing your spouse about it. You cannot do that. Right? And especially a lot of times when there are children. The father or mother will say something to the kid, your father lah, or your mother lah, like that. That is ridiculing your spouse in front of your kids. I'm sure you heard sometimes your parents do that, right? Then, faithful, don't have to say lah, faithful. Preserve household earnings. Again, like what I said just now, some partners, they will just spend and they don't care. They will spend everything inside the household. Okay, then household chores. How many stories have you heard? Couples quarreling because of household chores. Right? Social media. I saw one particular social. Actually, I wanted to share here the video, but I scared YouTube because of copyright. That's why I never put this. This floor, for example, there are a few items. For example, like this. Then the husband will vacuum. And then the husband does not move the chair, will vacuum like that. Like that. So just vacuum around the area that is empty. The area where there are things on it doesn't move at all. So there are couples who do that. I mean, of course, it's a joke video, but then it's a funny video, but then I can tell you it really happens in real life. How many people, when they do chores, they don't do it properly, regardless whether male or female, and then the other spouse not happy about it. There are cases I've heard of whereby the husband is the sole breadwinner in the house. The wife says that, I stay at home, I want to take care of the kid, I bring up my kid better, I'll be a housewife. End up, she does not even take care of the kid, she does not do the household work, and stay at home and do what? Nowadays, you all do what? Play handphone. Play game. Keep playing tablet game, handphone game, whatever game they can find, and then just lie on the bed or watch drama. And totally ignore all the duties that she's supposed to do. So, household chores. This one, the last one, present spouse with gifts and notes of appreciation. Just look at your own parents. Have they drifted apart? Maybe not so far apart, but maybe a little bit apart because they don't really communicate with each other. They don't really talk like when they were still young. When you are still not married yet, you all will keep talking to each other about a lot of things. You all will call on the phone and talk. Hey, you put down first lah. Hey, you put down first lah. This type of things, right? But as your relationship gets longer and longer and longer, how many times you hear, hey, I need to sleep earlier to work. Okay, how many times have this happened? Or you don't even bother to call anymore. You say, I'm very busy, a message, busy, and then that's it. Or you don't even message. So, last one, loads of appreciation and to give gifts. That's why the Buddha wants the couple to appreciate each other. You give gifts is not because it's like, your spouse like a particular thing. It's not that. But rather, it's because you appreciate your spouse. And you know what your spouse like, and then you get it for your spouse. It includes your own observation of your partner. It includes your appreciation of your partner. That is how you can give an appropriate gift. Of course, you don't anyhow buy. One day say must give. And then you go anyhow go into the shopping center, anyhow just buy one thing and then you just give like that. Not like that, please. You give like that, you might as well don't give. You actually hurt your partner even more. So the gift has to be thoughtful. And the notes of appreciation, you must really think, what do I really like about my partner? So if you can do all these, I can guarantee your relationship, very, very little issues. Because the majority of the issues come from these few points, you know. Am I right? Just go and watch all the social media or all the whatever drama, whatever thing it is. All these few points. It will really help to enhance your relationship. Of course, I'm not saying the other modern stuff not important. I'm not saying that. In this case, the Buddha is very, very specific. You have to do this. But whatever you learn in this course is more general. It applies to a very wide variety of issues. Okay? Yeah, answer your question? Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Sorry, did
Yeah.
Buddha roughly mention how to use humor in a relationship? Like to make it more less tense.
Not really. Not really, because even in right speech itself, the Buddha has never talked about humor. He talks about the truth, whether it's beneficial, whether you are gentle, whether there's a necessity, and whether there's right timing. Right timing, that is something more important than humor. You will not be able to diffuse all issues with just humor. In fact, if you like to use humor, you may end up using humor to just override the issue. Your spouse complains something about you. Then you say something funny, and then you laugh yourself, but your spouse don't laugh. And then you try to use humor to just get over it. So humor is not always the remedy to issues, but rather I would say that whatever the Buddha said up here about right speech, I think the most important thing is right timing. It's really right timing, because sometimes we can blurt things out at the wrong timing, and it makes things very, very bad. For example, you are in a family gathering, and then your spouse did something, and then you just say something, and it is not nice. Then all the family members heard it. What do you think will happen? After that, what do you think will happen? Or sometimes even not after that. Straight away you say something, your spouse will immediately hit back, and then you start quarreling. Or after that, go home, Cold War. Don't talk to each other. So I would say humor can be used, but again, humor, right timing. Yeah, but the Buddha has never taught anything about humor itself. Yeah, by itself, no. Okay? Right. So do you use humor all the time?
Never. Not
Yeah, then why you ask this question? It's like,
it's too tense already, so.
oh, so you're thinking, use the humor to try to dissolve the tenseness and then try to talk about it. Is it? Like I said, it may backfire. It really may backfire. Because your spouse may think that you're not being serious about it. When the person himself or herself thinks that this is a very serious issue. And then when it brings it out, and then you, like that, then you think that you're not serious. And it will make them even more angry. Yeah, that's why I really don't suggest humor in times of very tense situations. Rather, my suggestion as a monk, so take it with a pinch of salt, my suggestion as a monk is whenever there is a very tense situation, walk away first. Tell your spouse or your partner or whoever it is, like I said, it applies to all situations. In a very tense situation, tell the person you need some time to cool down first. We can talk about it. Give a specific timing. Don't say, talk later, like that. Then your later is like never. So you can say that, maybe give me 30 minutes or 1 hour, or maybe at the end of the day or tomorrow or whatever it is, then you go and cool down. Use whatever methods you have, then go and cool down. After that, give your mind some time to process what you want to say, what you think about the situation, how you think you can try to resolve the issue, and all these things will go through your mind. Let your mind run through it first. Because if you don't let your mind run through it, what will happen? You will just blurt it out. And you will usually say the wrong things. So always let your mind run through it first, If necessary, write it down. And then when you re-look at whatever you've written, if you find something like, oh, I think this one better to say, cross it out. Cross it out. Then after that, give it a look. Then you think that, I think these are fine. Then go and approach the person and talk about it. You really need to go back and talk about it. You cannot like say, later then we talk, and then you totally disappear and don't talk about it. If you do that, then the thing is just going to accumulate until one day, the straw that breaks the camel's back will be a very, very small thing, and then everything will just blow apart. Yeah, so to answer your question, humor can be used, but in very serious situations, don't use it. Again, right timing. Any other questions?
We have time for one last question.
Yeah, okay. Anyone?
Maybe I go in what else is going.
Yeah.
Buddhist teaching or whatever the Buddha say, is there if let's say there is there a priority in terms of the relationship with parents versus the relationship with the spouse versus the relationship with the children? If let's say one or two or three of this in conflict, is there a priority in terms of what a person should take? Because for example, a relationship with parents is filial piety, right? A relationship with spouse is you chose the spouse, right? And children is responsibility, right? So is there a priority if let's say all these are in conflict with each other? Is there a priority that Buddhist or Buddhist teaching mention? I'm just curious.
This particular sutta, or this scripture, this Sigalaka is a person who is given instructions by his father to pray to 6 directions. So according to the Indian custom, he will wet his hair, and then early in the morning, he will pray to north, south, east, west, whatever lah. Then the Buddha came, saw him, and then told him about the real 6 directions. So, one of the direction is your responsibility as a parent to your kids. You need to teach your kids how to behave properly and all these things. I'm not going to go into details. Then the second direction is towards your parents. And then after that, the next direction is towards your spouse. Okay, like what is being mentioned here. So the Buddha did not say who has the priority, but rather you have to take care of all your directions. So if there's a conflict, then you will have to see how to resolve the situation. Like for example, if you're talking about in-laws versus your partner and then they quarrel, then you have to find out what is really the issue. Usually, they will quarrel about something, but then sometimes the issue, the root issue is not that something. It can be something else that's buried deeper. Like for example, they may be scolding you or even your partner about something, but then the underlying issue is you are not spending enough time with them. So they are so-called jealous. And then they try to create an issue. You understand? So you have to go and look at every situation and you have to figure out what is the root issue. So you have to go into the root issue to resolve the thing. The priority thing actually doesn't really matter. You cannot be saying that, oh, if the Buddha say my priority is my parents, then when the two of them quarrel, I always side with my parents. What's going to happen to your relationship? It's going to die, you know. Again, in social media, how many people say every time there's the man is like stuck between the wife and the mother, and I don't know what to do. So there is an underlying issue. What does the mother want? Maybe that's why the mother is always picking on the wife. So you have to go and find out what is the issue. The Buddha did mention our parents, we can never repay them for their effort and time and money to bring us up. Because without them, we will never survive. So he said this debt, we cannot repay them unless we bring them into Buddhism, get them to do the to follow the 5 precepts and all these things. But then the thing is, if you always side with your parents, your partner is going to suffer, no, regardless whether husband or wife. They are really going to suffer. And then they will think that, why you always side with your parents? And then sometimes it's not my fault, it's really not my fault. And then you still side with your parents. You cannot do that. You cannot do that blindly. So in Buddhism itself, the Buddha has never given a deterministic solution to any issue. Never. He gives a solution based on the context. So we need to know the context. If you ask a general question like that, the answer that I can give you is, you need to take care of all the directions. or all parties, and then find the root cause and try to resolve the root cause rather than siding with this or siding with that. You cannot do that. Okay? It's not easy. It's not easy. I know what is going through. It's not easy. Human relationships are never easy. So we have to understand that. And then when more is in stake, like for example, your spouse and your spouse's family, they are also considered your family after you get married. So more things are at stake. And when more things are at stake, the responsibility and everything starts coming in, you feel very pressured. Right? So it's never easy. It's really never easy. So have to put in some effort. And don't, like what is being taught in this course, don't do it by yourself. You need to have a united front. Discuss with your spouse how to handle the situation. If it's your parents, after discussion, you go and talk to your parents. Blood deals with blood, right? If I remember correctly. So you go and deal with your parents. Then if it's her parents, then you can ask her to deal with her parents. But after discussion, don't just she go by herself, you don't know what she talk about. So that is the best answer I can give you. No priorities. Okay?
Alright, thank you, Prof. Frank, for the sharing. I really like the re-emphasizing on right speech and also some of the concepts that we covered yesterday. In the Theravada tradition, after hearing the Dhamma sharing and also some wisdom that we receive, we will use the word sadhu, which means rejoice. So we rejoice. So if you can join me to say 3 sadhu as an appreciation to Prophet. So 3 sadhu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we rejoice in listening to the sharing.